Buying a piece of property can be a scary thing. My family and I are in the middle of purchasing 80 acres of land, and there's a lot of stuff to do. So, today we're going to talk about what are the next steps, how we're planning, and working through the emotions of what all of this means. Welcome to American Roots. I watched an interview with Girl in the Woods yesterday, um, and she was interviewing Marty from Homestead Rescue. And he talked about the hardest part is getting your foot out the door and making that first step. Boy, would I have to agree about that. We definitely have had our share of ups and downs, and the roller coaster ride. It was super exciting to get our offer accepted. And then that lasted for about the honeymoon period, about a week. About a week later, we started having second thoughts, and second thoughts of fear, second thoughts driven by fear. And it started to become like real, waking us up in the middle of the night. Um, my mom and I are pretty in sync when it comes to things, major decisions, things like that. And when we decide to do something together, we're very driven by faith. Emotion can be a fickle thing. So sometimes, like your gut feeling, it can lead you down a path that is a downward spiral. It's not productive. And you just start weighing things out. I know making a decision that way, I know for years we've done like pros and cons lists, because when you can look at what the pros are of something, they can outweigh the cons. So that was definitely something that we started thinking about, was what were the pros. Okay, the pros are 80 acres of land, two ponds, a creek, um, trees, rolling hills, pasturable land. Um, Hay can be harvested off the land if we wanted. Um, Seclusion. I mean, there's so much, owning that much property. Okay, those are all pros. Now, the cons are it's a lot to mortgage. And I feel like from the very beginning, we're going backwards. And we are acquiring all this debt when we just worked so hard to get out of it. So that has been a major thing. Another con is I have no idea how to build a house. I don't know the first thing about it. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm a teacher and I have a learning mentality and I have a very open mind and the willingness to learn. Um, but this feels bigger than me. This feels much bigger than me. Um, so I've really been struggling with that side of it. Well, I just told you, I think two cons up against how many pros. When you start looking at it from that perspective, it starts to change things. Now, you don't even consider the emotion when you're wrapped up in the excitement of looking at the property, dreaming about it, making an offer, it getting accepted, and then you think about the hopefulness, where this is going, what it could be. You don't even give it a thought. You don't even pay attention to that. And then it hits you, or it hit me. And I just thought, like, all of the negative things and what it was going to take and what I was really signing up for, and, you know, not really looking at the positives anymore, but so much focusing on those two cons that we talked about. Um, and it just kind of started overtaking me. And the next thing I knew, I started questioning whether I was making the right decision or not. So my mom and I and Joe talked about it, and we called tag. We had a conversation. We really kind of just started talking about the realness of what was going on and what we needed to do. And that led us to what our next steps are. So I've been talking with a couple people within the community. that are also starting and building their homesteads. And we're all kind of yoking up and trying to learn from each other, what each other are doing, what's working, what's not working. And then most importantly, you're able to ask questions. And if they've done research in a certain area, you can, have access to that research. And that is super valuable. So it's like they're helping each other out. And then there will come a time where I can repay that same favor to somebody else who maybe needs to know what to do for the next step. What we're doing next, we are going to close on the property, first and foremost. And then we're going to take a trip out to the property and we are going to assess what we need to do. If we want to build a tiny house, if we want to start the process of putting a garage in, if we want to start looking for water, getting on the well list, we just have to assess. So we did not see the property. We've been to the town multiple times where we've purchased. And so we kind of had a general idea of where the land was. Our realtor went out and took a very detailed video, walked the property, and did a very good job getting us the footage that we needed to compare to the listing and kind of see what the property had to offer. And we really liked what we saw. So it's going to be exciting to get to go take a trip to the land because we've not done that yet. I know some of you might be like, you purchased property without seeing it. But again, like I've said, we looked for a very long time and we knew the area we wanted to be in. We knew what we were looking for. And when this property came up, it was that gut feeling that I was talking about. We just had a really good feeling about it. The other thing was we felt like that everything just kind of happened and it was supposed to happen that way. When things just flow and all you have to do is show up, that's how we know it was meant to be. So we felt that we were being led into this property and that this was the right decision. So, for me, I look at it like, of course, your mind is going to play tricks on you. Of course, you're going to think you've made the wrong decision. I've talked to friends in the homesteading community that have said that they still have doubts about whether or not they've made the right decision, but that's because the system is designed to drive us by fear. And if you fear, then you're not going to make that first step out the door. So I'm just thinking it's a very, very hard road just to take the first step out the door because you've worked so hard to get debt free and then you have this giant debt. So we are going to figure out how to tackle that debt first and foremost and get out from underneath it as quick as possible. Now, there's a lot of emotion that goes with everything I'm talking about. Nothing is easy. Every decision seems to be getting to be harder to make because we don't necessarily know what we're doing. However, we've yoked up with a community that is committed to helping everyone succeed. And that is so key and so important because where would we be without that? So I would just like to encourage you to try to find a community if you haven't already and yoke up with them because it gave me a lot of solace and a lot of peaceful thinking when I started to think that I am not alone in this, that our family is not alone trying to figure it out, that we have help, that we have people who are also trying to figure it out. And that kind of gives you a little bit of comfort, a little bit of peace as you move through these major life-changing steps to get freer. We are committed to figuring out how to get free. We are committed to figuring out what we need to do to break out of this system. And it's scary. It's so scary. There isn't one time through this whole process that I haven't been a little bit nervous or like, wait a second, because we've worked so hard to get debt free. And when you do that, and then you have to turn around and think outside the box, you start to question yourself. So I would just like to be encouraging and let you know that if you are making this decision as well, or you are on the brink of making this decision, or you are even working towards this as a goal, just know that there is a community of people out there that are willing and able to help support you as well. So I thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you continue to follow us through our journey. It's exciting. We will document every step of the way, even visiting our land for the first time. So until next time, we're praying that you're blessed, and we'll see you soon.